Today we're going to analyze the legend of the Keyblade War. We're going to look at what characters like Jensen and Xehanort have told us about it, and then we're going to look at the actual truth and whether their stories are really the truth. The characters I just mentioned are known for talking about the Keyblade War constantly, and they do seem to have an extensive knowledge of the subject. So their story goes that way back thousands of years ago, a giant war happened for control of the almighty Kingdom Hearts. More specifically, people got greedy and wanted to get their hands on the tool to control it, which is the Keyblade, and I made a video about that a couple of weeks ago. This war ended with a big consequence, and that was that anything and everything was at one point consumed in absolute darkness, aside from a few Keyblade wielders. And also, as a result, the Keyblade was broken into 20 pieces, out of which 7 would be those of pure light, and 13 would be those of pure darkness, and the almighty Kingdom Hearts simply disappeared, and presumably thousands of years later, the only trace that was left of this legendary battle was an area we know today as the Keyblade Graveyard. And in the current era of Kingdom Hearts, this place is just that, an empty desert with nothing but hundreds of old, crusty, rusty Keyblades that long ago belonged to power-hungry people who went to war with each other. But the Keyblade wielders that did make it out of that whole altercation went on to try to protect the worlds from more destruction. Fast forward thousands of years later, and the story is considered a legend as it was passed down through many generations, and no one dared to restart the Keyblade War or redo it, whatever you want to call it, until old tweaker Xehanort wanted to start playing some chess with the universe. But to answer the question of this video, the Keyblade War was nothing more than a giant battle with presumably hundreds, if not thousands of victims who were hungry for power, and after the war's conclusion, everything and everyone fell to darkness for a certain amount of time, and later when worlds were restored by the surviving Keyblade wielders, that story was passed down through generations of wielders and masters, and this eventually led to people like the Master of Masters, the Foretellers, Lucio, and our favorite tweaker Xehanort finding out and sticking their nose in places that it shouldn't be. Also, real quick, if you're enjoying this video right now, please do me a favor, leave a like on it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, also go down to the description, check out my main channel. That is where the GTA content is nowadays, and if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and check it out. And to answer the question of whether or not these two are lying, well, to be honest, we don't know with 100% certainty. While we do know that the Keyblade War is a legend and a story passed down to generations for hundreds or thousands of years, since it has been so much time, I think that it's fair to assume that while the story seems to be mostly true when you look at the Keyblade Graveyard as evidence, I do think that some parts were changed or maybe interpreted differently, and that's not necessarily anyone specific's fault. That's just how it happened, and that's usually what happens when a story gets passed down for many years, especially if we're looking at 1,000 years or hundreds of years, however many years it has actually been between all these events. I mean, it's also possible that the story is complete bullshit and that some dude made that up one night after he stole and indulged in some of Jack Sparrow's booze, but I kind of doubt that that's the case, since when you consider the Keyblade Graveyard, like I said, and you know what it looks like today, not to mention the fact that it actually even exists. So my theory is that the story is likely mostly true, but not completely, like I said, simply because of the insane amount of people that have reheard and retold the story over and over again. And this leads me to the moral of this video, actually. And the moral of this video is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do not fuck with legends, because they might just kick your ass so hard that you'll end up in another universe. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this little bit of a weird lore video about the Keyblade War. But if this helped you in any way, if you enjoyed the video, or if it helped you with your Kingdom Hearts lore, maybe helped refresh it a little bit in preparation for KH4, I am very much glad. Until next video stream, bye bye.